Everybody's great. Good. I see some thumbs up. You are now being recorded. So we say this every week. Please don't do anything you don't want your mama or your babies to see. Every Wednesday, same spiel. I'm Leora Waldner, one of the faculty members at the Atlanta campus, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Dr. Velarde from Montgomery. And we have a really special treat for you today, and it's a treat that's more important than ever because we're going to be talking about internships, how to find them, and how to make them really powerful for yourself and for your professional development. Internships are like gold to help you advance your professional career and help you transition from one career to another. And we have two of my favorite colleagues at Troy here to talk to you about that today. Dr. Lane Boyd-Eckes, our favorite economist, and Dr. Tammy Estevez, one of our rock star online professors in the Master of Public Administration program at Troy University. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but I do want to say these two ladies have done more to influence students' lives by hooking them up with internship and career development than anybody else I can think of. So I'm particularly excited to have them here today, and they are going to take it from here and introduce themselves. So thank you so much for coming today. And also, I don't want to miss out one other special guest we have. It's Donna Brown from our Troy Career Services. She actually specializes in Troy Online students, and she'll be demonstrating Handshake and some other mechanisms that you can use to look for your internship. So she's going to show us around that today. So Donna, we're super excited to have you here today, and we don't know what we would do without you. Ladies, take it away. I'm going to mute.
Hi, all. I'll start. Lane Eckes, econ professor at Troy. I've been here for 14 years, I think. The past 2.5 years, I've been working heavily with internship programs with all campuses, mainly in the business area. I look forward to chatting with you all today.
And hey, everybody, I'm Tammy Estevez. I'm faculty member in the Political Science Department with the Master of Public Administration program. And so I look forward to chatting with you more about that today, too.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. I'm Donna Brown. Sorry about that. I am with Troy Online Career Services, and I plan to show you Handshake today. All students are enrolled in Handshake, so you do have access, and I'll be glad to show you around. So I'll turn it back over to Lane.
Okay, can you guys see me?
We certainly can. Thank you, Lane.
Okay. I should have had this up earlier. Again, welcome. As I said, this is a passion of mine. I didn't really realize how much it was until I really got down in the trenches. And I think I just sort of came up with this ad hoc business school. We like mission and vision statements. And teaching students, seeing them succeed is really my passion, in addition to teaching economics. So we want to prepare our students to become successful business professionals. And we believe internships, co-ops, and placements are the key to doing that. And some ways that we do this, that we'll speak about today, is we foster relationships with the business community, business firms, our great colleagues in career services, to help create opportunities, to market those, to get them out to students in the proper way, and to also really provide you assistance with your resume, mock interviews, and the like. This is just, again, I'm in the Sorrell College of Business, and this is not really a ploy for you to change your major, but I did want to give you a slight breakdown. We've placed 75 students in the past 2 years, and you can sort of see the big area. Accounting, super popular. Again, not my forte, but many people enjoy that particular area. Management, general business, marketing is also a huge area. Information systems, a little bit growing, econ finance sort of on the lower end, and HR is also a big area that we place internships with. I don't really have time to go into the various companies, but I mainly place students in the Dothan area, Houston County, that particular area, and they range. It ranges from, we have a huge number of partners. So if you see somebody that you, in fact, you're interested in, let me know. I'll reach out to them and see what I can do. Just some best practices, and I think Dr. Estevez and Donna will also, Ms. Brown, touch on this. First and foremost, make all students have are subscribed to the Canvas course, Jobs and Internship Shell on your dashboard. Make sure that you have that notification setting turned on. You can go view that particular Canvas course and see the plethora of internships we have going on right now. There are 2 new ones that just posted yesterday. One is a paid accounting internship, and the other is a really cool virtual sports marketing social media internship, which I think will draw quite a bit of interest. The instructions are also there on how to apply. I'm also big about, having some skin in the game, and I'll speak about that in a moment too. Handshake profile is important. What else can you do from a personal perspective? These are just things that work for my students. Find a mentor, find a professional mentor, find a faculty mentor, find a student mentor. See if you can attend Rotary, Kiwanis clubs as a guest. Call these individuals up. How do I attend as a guest? Meet people in your community. Again, networking, be active. Don't, always wear a smile. Get you a long ways. Join professional organizations. Contact key alumni from Troy. And even also, I can help you touch base with students who've done internships in your area and network with them. That's, again, not always publicized, but that's also a great opportunity to find, well, what did you do? What did you do differently? And also, I'm big on volunteering. Whatever best suits your particular needs or interests, do that. And I have a couple of success stories. It's just a couple that I pulled. And I will tell you one thing. I placed a ton of students who I've never personally met. We've FaceTimed, we've teamed, but I've never shook their hand, which is great in COVID-19 era. Be great. But anyway, but they made such an impression on me by a couple of things: hard work, initiative, and communication. If you send me an email and you apply for an internship, and I immediately, which I do, send back a response and ask you various questions, and you're like a cricket for 4 days, that doesn't bode well. The people who are immediately respond to me with, oh, yes, I can travel there, I have an interest in that, those are the ones that I'm going to push forward. You've got to have that strong communication skill, optimistic, forward-looking, and always follow up. And these are a couple of examples. Marvin's is now in the Atlanta area in the HR department for a large corporation. He did an unpaid internship with Dothan City Schools. Katie Frazier, also in HR, did an Alpha Insurance from the social media marketing aspect. These are just, a couple of quotes you can read while on the screen. Hunter, again, another success story, interned in Dothan at Cap South Wealth Management, went on to have a full-time job at this firm due to his performance. Coming back to get an MBA, take his Series 7 in finance. It was an invaluable experience. He always told me that he never knew he could drink so much coffee with an internship, but it's okay. Danielle at Southeast Health in Dothan in marketing. This is more of a supply chain type internship that Danielle did, but she learned a lot. And in addition, some of my students, I'll go back, in terms of what do we learn, it doesn't always lead to a full-time career job. Some of them do, some of them don't, but that's okay. The great thing is the firsthand experience really hones in on what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And that's perfectly fine. That's why internships exist. You don't want to go into a career that you figure out you really don't like the daily hands-on activities. A 3-month internship will teach you that, but it also teaches you to stick it out. You may not like it, but you can't quit. Okay, so, and again, how you represent Troy also paves the way for other students in the future to gain internships and job opportunities. So you really have a lot on your shoulders when you accept an internship, whether it be physical or virtual, for your university and yourself. I'm always available by email, cell phone, to do whatever, to be able to assist you. And I look forward to working with you all more in the future. Thank you. Questions? Oh. we have any questions? No questions at all?
We'll go. Feel free to put your questions in the chat box or unmute yourself, and we'll go to Dr. Estevez. We can always get the questions at the end as well. Plenty of time.
We have a question, I think, from Ashley. She raised her hand.
Oh, yes. Hi, how y'all doing? I live in Atlanta, and I wanted to know, how would an internship work for a student that's on Troy Online and they live out of state?
Well, I live in Georgia too. So
Yeah.
in terms of location, that's sort of where, you're going to be looking at potentially having to look a little bit more yourself on Indeed and LinkedIn, as Tammy's going to talk about. But there's,
Okay.
we can certainly look into, if you have an interest, Ashley, let me know and I'll reach out. You can sort of let me know what your interests are, and I sort of dig around myself and send things out for individuals. But in terms of getting class credit or any of that, I work all the time with online students.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback off of that before I go into mine, because I mean, most of the students that I work with in the MPA program are going to be out of Troy, Alabama. They're not going to be in that area. They're all over the country. And I even have some that are international that are, doing some internships. So, we certainly have those opportunities, and that's what we really try to work with you to do. Now, there will be more of the necessity for doing the search is going to fall on the student, because you're the one that's in that area, and that it's that area, what you want to do, what kind of organizations are there. But we're always here to work with you, and to a lot of times I will schedule a joint conference call between myself and the organization and the student so that we can work through those ideas. What you're seeing on the screen right now is similar to what we saw before with the business school on the Canvas site. I have mine set up in Teams, and so it's called MPA Career Central. And here I have a channel for those that are looking for careers, those that are looking for interns, and just a place to connect and post announcements of events that are coming up. As you can see on the screen, most recently, there was a virtual career fair that I posted some information about, as well as a program through the International Association of Emergency Managers, who was providing some information for students that are interested in a career in emergency management. I also call through announcements on Indeed.com and other places, and I will post those as well in this place. So if you're in the group, you will automatically get a notification anytime I've added something to that group. So this is one way that we do it. Now, our internship program is a little bit different from the business school that we were just talking about, because with ours, we're really looking for students that need to get experience in the professional field. And so we really strive to get them into whatever career path it is that they want to go into. And so ours is kind of two-part. I don't know if you guys just heard that thunder and lightning, but we're getting a really bad storm right now. With ours, it's a two-part thing. You do 150 hours of the internship, and then you also take a course. And in the course, we spend the first half of the course really doing an in-depth study of your organization, doing a SWOT analysis. You have to do interviews with key executives in the organization, or perhaps the board if it's a nonprofit. And then the second half of the course, we do professional development activities. And some of those are the things that I encourage. And so if you go on to the next slide, I wanted to just talk a little bit about some of the things that you need to do as far as setting up searches and networking. So the first thing here is setting up a search. If you're not too familiar with Indeed.com, it's really become quite a clearinghouse of business notifications for opportunities all around the country. So you can go in here, and when you go into the main page, as you can see here, this is just a screenshot, but you can do a search, and then you can activate a notification so that anytime, for example, this government intern comes up, then it's going to send you a notification. And so that's what I have here. I actually get notified anytime something comes up. Now you can put delimiters on here if you want to. If you want to say, I'm only looking for something in Atlanta because I'm only, I'm not geographically mobile. So it needs to be something within, say, a 20-mile radius of Atlanta. Well, you could put that in here and it would limit it to that. Or you could say, no, just send me whatever you have out there. And so you can do all of those types of things and put it in here. And then it will notify you when something new matches that criteria, which is a really great way to stay updated instead of having to go in, every day and search to see what's coming up. You can know that it's going to be sending you some of those things. Can we go to the next slide, please? And I'll just mention a little bit about networking, because that really is the name of the game. It's the important piece that you need to do. One of the ways to do that is to join relevant associations and attend conferences, particularly when you're at the grad level. And do this while you're still a student, because you can join associations at a much less expensive price than you do when you're no longer a student. So find an association, for example, the Society for Human Resource Management, or the one I mentioned a few minutes ago, the International Association of Emergency Managers. So find something that's in that field that you want to go into. And most of those associations will have a local chapter. And a lot of times the local chapter is less expensive to join. I'm in the Association for Talent Development. It used to be called the Association for Training and Development. They changed the name of it. The main national chapter is very expensive to join, but the local chapter is not. And so I join that, and that's more relevant stuff for me anyway. And I meet people that are right here in the area. LinkedIn.com is certainly something that you want to do. You want to create your profile, because that's another place where you can get connected to other people that are in the field that you want to be in and get that information. I also put on here to participate in community programs. For example, here in Orlando, we have Leadership Orlando, and most chambers have that in a lot of the larger cities. We also have something called the Mayor's City Academy, where you really, again, get to connect with folks in your community and get to know them, and also get to know the organizations within the city. You can participate in service organizations. That's another great way to connect, like the Rotary. And I also put on here a tip. If you feel anxious about public speaking, then join an organization like Toastmasters, where you can get practice and work with others in a non-threatening environment and really feel comfortable in going up and speaking to folks about your career goals and your aspirations. And then one last tip I wanted to put on here is be sure and use your class projects whenever you can to get your feet in the door. So if you're doing a class project and you have to do a research paper, then try to tie it to an organization or field that you would like to work in, because it's really easy to call up, John Smith of this organization and say, hey, I'm doing this research paper on this, could I come and chat with you for a little bit, or do it virtual nowadays by Zoom or something? And they're pretty willing to work with students to help them out. It's a lot harder to do that when you're just out in the work field and trying to do that. So really take advantage of those class projects to get your feet in the door and really connect with those organizations where you think you might want to work. And I think that's it for me. If you want to go on to the next slide, I think it's going on to Donna.
If we can quit, stop sharing that screen, I'll share the Handshake, the actual live Handshake version. If you toggle or kind of wiggle your mouse at the top of the screen, sometimes it'll give you the option to stop sharing. Okay, all right, guys. Okay, my turn. I'm going to try to share. Okay, give me a second. Okay, hold on a second. Where are you?
It's a little bit of a delay, but stop sharing.
Yes. Okay, can you see? Can everyone see Handshake?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, this is the student view. This is what you'll see once you log in. You can access Handshake through the Career Services page. There's a link there, really big icon that you can see. Or you can also, if you're good at remembering URLs, troy.handshake.com will take you there. All students have access to Handshake. They all have accounts there, so really you'll just need to create, just log in through your Troy credentials. And this is the page that you'll initially see. you'll want to, now this page is geared towards me, so each student's going to see information that is basically the information you put in your profile. Handshake's going to push information out to you based on that profile. So we'll take a look at mine, and you just click on your picture there and then click on my profile. But this is where you can upload a resume. You can also fill in information about yourself here that will prompt Handshake to send you notifications about different job types, internships, different types of things that you're interested in. So as we have learned, I may not see the same thing that you're going to see when you log in. In other words, when you look at your profile and at different things within Handshake. So you'll want to make sure you do that first. And then once you've done that, back at your home page, there's some really cool tabs here. Events is one that you'll want to pay attention to. You'll see that there are different webinars and different events here. Here's the one that we're in now. And you can join those events directly from the website. So there's, it just continues on. So you'll want to choose some of those and participate in some of the events and upcoming webinars. If you're wanting to search for, let me show you one more thing first. You can click on career services and actually schedule an appointment with a career service person within our office. And I'm going to show you this one because I know Emily's good at getting her set up correctly. But anyway, if you wanted to set an appointment with Emily for a career counseling session, you can see that her available times are here. Everything is set up for you so that you can actually click on a day and time and set up an appointment for yourself. And then Emily will approve that time. And of course, the other members of career services, and you can schedule yourself an appointment to have a consultation with a career person. Then once you are interested in looking at jobs, you can click on the jobs tab, and then you're going to see a list of jobs here. You can narrow that search by, let's just say government. If I could spell, that'd be great. Okay, there we go. All right, then here you'll see a list of government type jobs. If you want to narrow your search to a certain area, we'll just say Atlanta. Then you'll see different types of government jobs within the Atlanta area. And if you want to, hopefully I won't mess this up, but if you want to just specifically concentrate on internships, then you're going to see a list of internships here. And let's go back to, let's just check on this one. Okay, on this, let's see, that's the right one. Yes, okay. You'll see a description. If you scroll down, you'll see a description about a full description, in other words, of the job duties and expectations, qualifications. You'll want to pay close attention to that in creating your resume, because you'll want to pull out your skills, experiences, interests that are directly related to what they're asking for or expecting from a candidate as they apply for jobs. And you can also send your resume to career services for review. We'll be glad to go through and give you feedback before you upload a resume for employers to see. But once you've done that, you can actually apply. Now, some of these are different. You can directly apply. This is going to take you to an external site to apply, but those are specific to each job or internship. Okay, and that is pretty much an overview of Handshake. It's very simple to use. Like I said, there are a lot of different filters that you can narrow your searches there. And if there are any particular questions that you might have about Handshake, and even if you think of them later, you can email our career services team. We're more than happy to help you and kind of walk through helping you find different internships and jobs that are in your area. Is there anyone that has any specific questions, or as I said, you can always ask them later. We're always there, available.
Donna, you mentioned the email for the Troy Online. Was it Troy Online Career Services at Troy.edu? Or what is the email address? We'll put it in the chat box.
Okay. And now this, all of us work together. So it's not like we're separate. We have our Troy traditional career services team, and then I'm the online services career team, but we're in the same office. We work together. So, I mean, it's not like anybody's going to get passed over. But for Troy Online students, my email is troyonlinecareer@troy.edu. And then if you are a traditional student and you're on the Troy campus, troycareer@troy.edu. But if you happen to get the wrong address, it's okay. We all work together. So.
Thank you, Donna. Questions for any of our presenters today about internships, how to find internships, virtual internships, Handshake. You can either unmute and ask, or you can type it in the chat box. We'll get you covered either way.
Okay.
Lisa had a question.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Lisa in Alabama. Hey, this is awesome. Y'all are really doing great. So I'm an older student. I'm retired military and coming back for a degree in nursing. But so this is so looking for these internships or positions it's through this Handshake platform, I guess, but then it also links with Indeed. I don't know. I'm kind of confused. I'm just curious, about that.
There's several different avenues, and we're going through this very quickly. So I'm sure we probably are confusing you, but no, they are completely separate. The job and internship course that Lane mentioned initially is a separate thing. We post internships out, and that just sends an announcement out to every student everywhere, so that they're aware that we have one that, this just came to our desk, and hey, this is available. Here it is. The ones that are in Handshake are all across the United States. They're not ones that are just typically around in our area that are sent to us. The Indeed, things like those are going to be more, broader areas, but it's a completely different setup or a different place to log in and go to find your internships and Handshake.
Oh, well,
Does that help?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So in other words, these are companies that feed this into Troy through this Handshake because they're looking for students and that's wonderful. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to keep taking your time. Thank you. Yeah, this is wonderful. Wow. I've got 3 children, so always thinking about getting them with Troy because I love Troy.
Right. Well, yes, there are, we have traditional students that come to Troy from other areas, South Florida, Georgia, all around. So just because they live in Troy doesn't mean, they may stay in Troy, they may go back home. So, but Handshake and all of these other avenues give them a way to find internships and jobs in other areas besides just the Troy, surrounding area or just in Alabama. So, and of course, our online students are across the United States and overseas. So it gives them the opportunity to look at jobs and internships that are not just based out of a local area.
Right. Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you. I'll mute my microphone.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice talking to you.
And Lisa, I would really recommend too checking out if you're looking for something specifically in nursing. I am quite certain there are nursing organizations that have, these same kind of clearinghouses that specifically focus on the health field. And that would certainly be something else that you would want to look into as well.
Right. I will. So thank you so much. And yeah, thank you.
And Lisa too, I have a day job. I am a professor. So this is like sort of my second love. So my sort of started a little bit differently because it does focus on a specific geographic area of Dothan, but I do advertise it to all students. So I don't know where you're from. So it's like if you're from Dothan, you want to come back and you're online in Atlanta. So that's sort of a different way more of a finite way to advertise the area. And then
Mhm.
Indeed, LinkedIn are ways to be more geographically open. So that's sort of how I lean on Donna and Lauren, such great colleagues, to help me get these advertisements out for our Troy students.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm actually in Montgomery and I'm going to Troy downtown, which is actually where I started many, many years ago. And I'm coming back and working in the nursing. So yes, I'm just super excited. And this is just boom. I wish I was, 20 or 30 years younger and
I
had
know.
more time to do even more. So yeah, this is just wonderful.
Okay. If
There's
y'all,
also a question from that I got forwarded, and I see another one from Yolanda. I'm not sure which one's first, but the question that was forwarded to me was, what's the best way to specifically search for a virtual internship?
I would say include that word in there, and a lot of them you might have to try. Some say virtual, some call it remote. There's other things like that. Another thing to do though is don't just limit yourselves to those, because if by chance they've got a position open, you can always approach them and say, is there an option, especially in the world we're living in right now? More places are being willing to do that. Just contact whoever their point of contact is and say, is this an option that I could do this, virtually, at least partially, and reach out to see, because a lot of places are being more open to doing that, considering the circumstances that we currently have, because a lot of businesses aren't even open right now to do that.
the company that we posted internships for yesterday stated that they're actually trying to go out of their way to work with people because they realize, that they're not able to come into the office to do internships, but they're actually going out of their way to try to present those opportunities.
I had one point I wanted to add really quick before I forget. I work with international students and Maria Frigate in the international student office in Troy. And we've placed a large number of international students as well. So there's opportunities there, a little bit different procedure, but I know it now. So don't be discouraged. There's not an issue at all with international students and internships either.
Another question, sorry, I'm getting them through the one-on-one chat box too, as well as in here. Any advice on, how to create your own internship if you have a passion for a particular agency?
Well, I encourage students to reach out to either HR or the volunteer coordinator for an organization that you're interested in working, and just approach them and say, for example, I have students that are interested in nonprofits. And so they will contact a nonprofit, especially if they want to work with children or they want to work with the homeless population. So they will reach out to that organization and find out, if they, could develop something. And the best thing to do is to go in with some idea of what you can offer them, what you would like to do. If you just give them a blank call and say, hey, are you open to me doing an internship? They may not do that. But if you call and say, hey, I'm interested in helping out with fundraising, perhaps doing some, grant writing research, could I do some, board training, just different things that you might be able to offer to them, then they're really able to do that, because a lot of places are very busy. They don't have time to if they don't already have an internship program in place. If you can come in with that kind of idea, and we always ask students to find out about shadowing board members, shadowing executive directors, participating in some of those board meetings. So if you can come up with those kinds of ideas of things that you could offer them, that will go a long way towards organizations being open to do that. And I know for my students that are working in the public sector, especially with nonprofits, we have a more flexibility to do that. I know it's a little stricter. I think Dr. Eckes will tell you, in the business sector, it's a little more challenging perhaps because of legal restrictions and things like that. But as long as you're getting college credit for it, they're usually really willing to work with you to help you, because it can be a win-win for both of you. That's what it should be.
And also, if you're a business major, there's always a spot for an upper level business elective. The BUS 4499 goes well on that spot, and for class credit. So if it happens to be unpaid, the course credit works out very well there as well, in addition to the experience.
Other questions for our presenters today? All right. Well, I cannot thank you three enough for coming to talk. I know, especially when somebody's trying to get a foot in the door, or they're trying to transition from HR to public administration, that internship can really be the magic tool. And it's, a lot of my students in Atlanta may say, oh my goodness, I can't do it. I already work full time. I have a family, but we manage to make it work anyways. There's always an internship that can match the student's schedule, even if it's for a 911 organization or some other thing. So especially Dr. Estevez, I know you have a ton of experience making that work. So I want to just take a second and thank our three presenters today for coming. We are getting a couple questions here. Oh, Dr. Velarde just put out a link in the chat box for the feedback survey. So if folks could click on that before they leave the session, that would be great. We do have another couple questions. And then always, since this is a virtual coffee for students, which we started as part of COVID-19, just to give people a chance to say hello, we are going to stick around after we close out this official part of the session, just so people can say hello and reconnect and tell us what's on their mind. So we did get another question from Alexandria Brown. What are some good ways to find internships for psychology undergraduate students?
Again, that's probably where I would, find your faculty mentor, have them put you in touch with a student who has done an internship in psychology. It's not my area. But again, where is your passion? Is it, again, Habitat for Humanity? I mean, what is it you really want to do? And I'm not averse to calling a company and asking to speak to HR and pushing an internship program. I mean, I can really be persuasive. I'm not a marketing sales, but I can be persuasive. And they're always really, if I make it easy, they're always amenable to bringing in an intern. I promise, I've done it lots of times. And I'm usually like, oh, wow, it's, perhaps it may not be paid, but finding where you want to be is sort of where I would start. Alexandria, I can't see your name. But again, what's your passion? Where does it lie? Speaking to your faculty advisor, perhaps putting in touch with a student who's done that in the past. It's a couple of good points and directions.
Thank you.
Great.
And I'll just share one other little story. And this is always my favorite internship story, is that when I was in the Atlantic region in Virginia, I had a student who was getting her master's degree, and she was not married. She was, single. She had no kids, nothing holding her down. She's like, wherever I can get an internship, I just want to get some city management experience. So we found her an internship in Tucson. They had advertised it. She applied. She got offered it. They liked her so much, they extended her from 1 year to 3 to stay around and hopped her around between the different city manager departments. And the ultimate goal of that is they hired her, but not only that, she met her now husband there, because he was stationed there in the military. So if she'd never gone to Tucson and done the internship, she wouldn't have met her husband and had their 3 beautiful children that they now have. So I can't promise you that that's going to happen. But hey, you never know what you might get out of an internship besides a great opportunity, some great experience, and, some fun, hopefully, too.
My story doesn't involve kids, but it does involve getting the dream job of a student. In addition, I want to say, not everyone has a 4.0. We were just discussing this before. Where were our C's in college and our failures? Don't get hung up on you have a 2.75. I haven't ever really had an employer say they must have a 3.65 GPA as an intern. So again, moving forward is the key. Changing your expectations in the way that you do things, but don't let that frustrate you. It's about hard work, great communication skills, and you'll do wonderful.
And with mentors like you guys, there's no way any of our students can go wrong. So thank you, Donna. Thank you, Tammy. And thank you, Lane. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We're going to stop the recording now, but by all means, please feel free to stick around and just say hello. Let's see. Let's stop the recording now. And now wishing everybody a fantastic week and a great 4th of July holiday. Thank you again, everybody. All right.